What's up, guys? My name is Tracy L. I am an animator and illustrator living in Los Angeles, and my pilot, I Love You Jocelyn, is being released by Warner Brothers next week. I have a lot of new subscribers, so I thought it would be fun to do a story time about how I landed my pilot while I color a page in my new I Love You Jocelyn coloring book. These coloring books will be exclusively available to my monthly mail club, so if you like to sign up and get mail from me, signups for May 2026 are open right now on my Etsy. The mail for May comes with a coloring book, a letter, a sticker, and a surprise. So I'll throw that in there. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is. It's a secret only for people who get the mail club. And it's all wrapped up in custom stationery that I design and draw myself. Every month has a theme, and the theme for May is, of course, I Love You Jocelyn, my pilot. You can sign up for the Tracy L Mail Club on my Etsy. There are 2 tiers. One is a monthly mailer, which is just 1 month, and the other is Pen Pal Club. Pen Pal Club lasts all year long. So the monthly mailer is $12 and you get 1 month of mail. But if you join Pen Pal Club, you get mail and art from me all year long for only $6 a month. I think it's the better option. You might as well get the annual. And Pen Pal Club is for my hardcore fans who want to connect with me as an artist. I will write letters to you every month, and you can write back and I will respond to what you write to me back. It is a very small pool available because I have to write back all of you guys, and I really want to give you all the attention you deserve. So if you just want to get cute treats in the mail without writing me back, then choose the monthly. But if you like my letters and you want to write to me too, the Pen Pal Club is your best bet. I'm really excited about launching this mail club and sending art and letters in the mail. It's such a personal, direct way to connect with all of you, and I can't wait to send you treats in the mail. That being said, let me get to the story of how I got my pilot. Let's go back in time. Sometime before 2020. I was an art director at Google. I quit after being at Google for 4 years because I just wanted to have my own product team, you know? I was always working on someone else's product, and I wanted to have my own product and lead a team on my own product, if that makes sense. Even though I was the lead art director for the international products at Google, I wasn't actually in charge of creating any of the products. I was in charge of creating the look and feel of the products internationally, but I wasn't actually creating from concept to completion any products. So that was something I really wanted to do, as well as moving up to management where I was managing my own product team. Those were goals of mine that I just wasn't finding a path for when I was at Google. Quitting Google to produce my animated pilot at the time sounded crazy to everyone. A lot of people told me not to do it, and that is just ridiculous to leave this great tech job to go make an animated pilot. But I disagreed. My heart was telling me that this is the right thing to do, and if I was going to take a chance on myself, it was now or never. So I reached out to a producer friend I had at Cartoon Network, and she knew me when I was a student, and I felt like I could open up to her, especially about how unhappy I was with my current team. And I just told her straight up, I want to leave this job and I want to make I Love You Jocelyn. I remember when I was a student, when we first met, she really liked my student film of I Love You Jocelyn and told me to continue developing the idea. You know, she liked it enough that 4 years later, you know, when I reached out to her after we had no contact after she saw the student film, it was 4 years later, and I was all the way over at Google and stuff, and she still remembered my student film and was like, oh yeah, I remember you. The fact that she remembered it, and the fact that she told me to keep developing the idea when she first saw it, I think really gave me the drive and the confidence to pursue this passion project seriously. You can find the student film of I Love You Jocelyn on my YouTube. Anyways, like I said, I kept developing the idea the whole time I was at Google. Every day when I'd come back from work, I'd be in my sketchbook drawing Jocelyn stuff, you know, painting watercolors of different ideas I had for Jocelyn, and writing short stories for Jocelyn. I kept it up the whole time I was at Google until one day during the pandemic, working from home, I realized I'm more passionate about I Love You Jocelyn than any of my work at Google by a mile. I had like sketchbooks filled with episodes, ideas, and jokes and world development, and that's exactly what I showed Cartoon Network. I showed them my sketchbook where I drew out the beats for the pilot episode, did a bunch of world building and like design stuff and character stuff and like writing, lots of writing, and comics too. Now, my producer friend saw that sketchbook, my Cartoon Network sketchbook, and my I Love You Jocelyn student film, and she said, you know what, you should join Cartoons. So she sent over the application, and I filled out the application along with giving them a 1-page summary of my idea for the concept of I Love You Jocelyn and a beat board of what I want the pilot story to be. So a beat board is basically like a really simplified comic book. Mind you, I've never shared anything from my sketchbook for years. The last significant sketchbook I had was my CalArts sketchbook. That was special, but this sketchbook was so much like my CalArts sketchbook was personal, but this sketchbook, the Cartoon Network sketchbook, was so much more intimate and personal. It was really my heart on a plate, and that's what I wanted for I Love You Jocelyn. I wanted it to be me on a platter, you know? And so I had never shared any of this with anyone before. So when I got positive feedback from the program director about my sketchbook and my pitch and my idea, I was over the moon. Everything about the leadership for Cartoons made me certain that it was the right place to share my ideas as an artist with confidence, you know? I did pitch to a couple other studios. I'm not going to mention who they were, but it just wasn't clicking. The amount of simpatico that me and the folks at Cartoons has was undeniable. There was just so much chemistry there between everyone. It was just a creative space where we all just got it. You know what I mean? We get it, and we're all here for the same reasons, and we're passionate about that. It was all about the artist. It was like the artist's voice and focusing on what the artist has to say and their perspective. It was really a chance to lift me up. And I really appreciate that, you know, they just wanted to uplift people. And you notice that in the shorts, like all of them are different. All of them, you can really tell the type of person who made it. And I think it's great in a world where everything is starting to kind of look like the same and unoriginal, that there's like fresh, unique voices that are making new, exciting, original things from their own perspectives. And that's really what the program was about. It was bringing all that unique, original, fresh voice type of work to a place to platform and uplift the creators. And Nick Jennings was the head of that program, Cartoons. And if you know anything about children's television, you know Nick Jennings. He created your whole childhood. This guy art directed Rocko's Modern Life, SpongeBob, Adventure Time, and so much more. He was a fantastic mentor to all the producers, and I could not have asked for a better boss. Like, I went from art director to producer, and so many people, you know, well, not so many people, but a lot of people tend to go from story to producer. But to have a boss who also started with art direction and then went into like producing and stuff, but still heavy in art direction, like it was nice because like he really understood where I was coming from. He understood where all of us were coming from, but it was just so impressive, you know, like working with an industry veteran like that, to be able to learn so much and for him to really understand like the way my mind works, because his worked a lot the same way as a fellow art director. It was just a breath of fresh air. I couldn't tell you how happy I was. Like the night and day difference between how I felt leaving Google and starting at Cartoon Network was just so different. I was so unhappy by the time I left Google. I would have gone anywhere, you know what I mean? And when I came to Cartoon Network, it felt like the 4th of July. It felt like Christmas morning. I was just so happy. I walked in every day. I didn't care what was going on. I didn't care that the studio was closing down. I didn't care that there was an acquisition with Warner. I didn't care about any of that. all I saw was a tower of dreams. You know what I mean? And I was just living the dream every freaking day. I'd wake up chipper as hell, walking into work, showed up early, staying late, just happy as all heck. And I was the happy. It was my I was so overjoyed. Everything during production, even our problems, even the mistakes, it all was I received it with joy. That's like I'd come into work and like, like two department heads would tell me like, oh, there's some big issue with something in production that we're gonna have to nail this down, and I'd just be sitting there smiling. Like, they're like, why are you smiling? This is a problem, we've got to resolve this. And I'm like, yeah, but this is the best problem I've ever had. Oh, my problem is that there's something on my pilot that needs to be addressed. Oh, I like that problem, I couldn't have asked for a better studio, a better boss, or a better crew. The biggest lesson I ever learned in my career is that a good boss is the most important thing about a job. When I think about all the jobs I've taken, it's the ones where I have a great boss that made it worth it. You know what I mean? And that doesn't always correlate to salary, which I hate to say because I never want to tell anyone to work for less than what they deserve. But I think in some cases, if you're taking a chance on yourself and you know that it's a good bet, I think a short-term pay cut is kind of worth it for a great boss. If you can work with the guy, whatever field you're in, the best one, and have them as your boss for like a year or two or whatever, but the pay isn't as much as like whatever you're doing now, work with the guy. Leave whatever you're doing and go learn from the best. Like, that's what you do. That's how legends are made, man. Like, I wanted to work with every single person I worked with on that pilot. Like, everyone. I was like, it was so funny because we're all artists working together producing the pilot, right? Like the art director, a couple of other producers, story people, stuff like that. And I'm in charge of everything and stuff. And it was so funny because walking in, they're all fans of me and I'm all fans of them. And it's just artists reciprocally like just loving on each other and just playing this fun game of building this amazing world, like they were just so ready to jump on the bandwagon and make my vision bigger than I could ever do by myself. And that is a really precious environment as a creative. I took a big pay cut leaving Google to take my chances on my pilot, but I don't regret it at all because what I learned and gained far exceeded the difference. That being said, I have complete confidence in the series potential of I Love You Jocelyn too. So, I wasn't being short-sighted. I think I was playing the long game where, I was okay with, it wasn't like they didn't pay me enough to live. I had enough, to take care of myself and stuff. It just wasn't Google money. And if you ever worked in tech or in like the FANG area, you know what I mean by that. But yeah, I mean, I knew what I was getting into. I walked away from tech. And you know what? Hindsight being 2020, I realize now that if I had stayed, maybe I would have been affected by all the tech layoffs. So it's good that I just left of my own accord, you know what I mean? Because I wanted to do something I was proud of and passionate about rather than getting sacked in the middle of like a economic downturn. So don't be afraid to walk away from a job. I think it's a great idea to bet on yourself, I Love You Jocelyn was one of the last original pilots created at the old Cartoon Network building before the WB merger. And I was just so oblivious to the changes happening around me because I was so excited producing the pilot of I Love You Jocelyn. But in the end, everything worked out, Sometimes you bet on yourself and your dreams come true. Producing I Love You Jocelyn, I got exactly what I wanted. I led my own product team from concept to final product. I managed and ran everything. I was totally in charge, and it brought me to tears so often in the office. I was like, I think it was funny being the boss, because like I remember there was like a joke in the studio between like the secretaries that about me crying tears of happiness just all the time. They'd be like, oh, Tracy's crying in the hall again. Because I just would like burst out into emotion at the realization that I'm living my dreams. Like we'd get back footage from Korea or something of like some animation or some coloring, and I just tear up. I'm just like, give me a second, guys. Just give me a second. It was a lot of, oh gosh. I mean, you can imagine, right? Like, it's just a once in a lifetime opportunity. It was very emotional for me, and I feel like a lot of those emotions, a lot of the process came out in the pilot. We ended up having a premiere in April of 2024 on the Warner Brothers lot where we showed all the shorts, and I got to see everyone's pilots, but I had no idea at the time that it would be another 2 years before the pilots were ever publicly released. So I enjoyed the premiere, but after was just silence, you know? There was no word on anything. Just 2 years of creating the pilot, and then it just ended with complete silence. No word on if my masterpiece, I Love You Jocelyn, or any of the shorts would ever be released. So I went from a really big career high to some confusing purgatory where I had to find something to do with my time till the pilots were released. It was a rough few years to navigate Hollywood, you know. Los Angeles was burning, changing, and producing less than ever. There were like 0 jobs. So I started wondering if leaving Google was the right move. But then I remembered why I left Google. I left because I wanted to make my own products, not someone else's. So that's what I did. For the past 2 years, I've been a small business owner, building my brand as an artist and selling my own original products, like stickers and bags and prints and fun stuff online and in person at conventions. You can even find my stickers at some vintage stores in Los Angeles, like Yes Baby Vintage, which is the first consignment store to ever carry my stickers and products. So that's really exciting. Hopefully I can get into more stores across Los Angeles soon. But that was a real big goal for me. I really wanted to be in stores, you know what I mean? And now I am. Hey. It was just, it was such an uphill battle. It was hard starting over after the pilot. Like, I had to start from scratch, basically. Like, I couldn't show anything that I had done for the pilot. Like, it was everything I had worked on for the past 2 years, and I couldn't show any of it. I just had to be like, trust me, bro, and that's not good enough, you know? So I had to like just start all over from scratch, make something totally new that had nothing to do with I Love You Jocelyn. I really had nothing to show for the pilot after all that, and no one was hiring at that point. You know, it was a real low point in Los Angeles for the animation industry. At the end of the year, I began believing they'd never air the pilots, or maybe like something terrible. I was scared I'd end up like Kitty Bobo. Real animation stans know what that means. I'm not going to explain it. But if you know, you know, leave it in the comments. Then out of the blue, at the start of this year, and the good Lord's year of 2026, Warner Brothers started releasing the pilots on YouTube just completely out of the blue. And I screamed. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? Since when? Like, what? I had to gather myself together. For real. I was like, oh my God, the cartoon pilots are finally being released publicly. Like, I was like, when is mine coming out? I don't know. Like, I remember the first video I made about it, one of you very smart cookies in the comment section noticed that the pilots were coming out alphabetically. And that was a really smart observation. So the pilots come out every Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time in alphabetical order, which means my pilot, I Love You Jocelyn, is coming out Monday, April 20th. Yes! It's, I don't even know how to feel, really. It's a mix of excitement and uncertainty in my stomach and knots because, first of all, it's been on the shelf for 2 years. Second of all, it is everything I love and is passionate about in my heart on the plate. You know what I mean? It's like everything to me as an artist. It's my Mickey Mouse, you know? So much has happened between getting accepted into cartoons in 2020 and the actual release of my pilot, I Love You Jocelyn, in 2026. It's just been, I would not have been able to explain this to myself if I went back and tried to talk to myself before pursuing this, you know, before quitting Google and betting all on myself, you know? Like, I would never have been able to explain this to myself. It's been a crazy journey, but the journey was so worth it. Betting on yourself and winning in this economy, that's something. And I hope this inspires you. I hope this inspires you to bet on yourself too, because you never know how things will turn out. You shoot for the moon and land in the stars. Anyone that tells you your dreams are unrealistic is lying. What's that thing in the Bible where like Jesus is like, don't go back to your hometown because like strangers will support you more than like the people who know you. You know what I mean? Their vision of who you are and what you're capable of doing in your life isn't real. Your vision of who you are and what you're doing in your life is what's real. You know what I mean? Some people can't see who you really are because they're blinded by preconceived notions of what they think you should be. And you should really ignore that and just stick to your truth. And I found a lot of strength instead in focusing on my supporters and the people who have been there for me. So for those of you who have been sharing my art, shopping my art, and supporting my artist journey, you guys have really been the encouragement that got me through some of the hardest times in the last 2 years. And I hope to continue having your support going forward as this community grows. So if any of you are going through anything like that, or if this is speaking to your heart, I want you to know you're not alone and you can make it through that. And you are everything you believe yourself to be. You know, the best version of yourself is totally possible for you in this life. And if you pursue it, you can achieve it. Even in the bad times when things feel like they're falling apart, sometimes they're just falling into place. That being said, go to my Etsy and support the pilot by getting some original I Love You Jocelyn merch and sign up for my mail club to stay in touch. I don't know what the future holds, but I can tell it's bright and I hope I have your support. Watch my pilot I Love You Jocelyn next Monday, April 20th on Warner Brothers Cartoons, and I will be celebrating with my friends that day. It's a dream come true that it's coming out, but the fact that it took so long and that it's finally here, just wow. After 2 years of being unemployed and struggling as a business owner, it would mean a lot to me if you bought some of my merch on Etsy. You know, I don't want to rush you, but let's be honest. If Craig McCracken was selling Powerpuff Girls merch or Penn Ward was selling Adventure Time merch when the pilot premiered, it would have been sold out already. So show up and be my day one. You know, show up for me. Give me my flowers while I'm still alive. Okay? And I can't believe, dude, oh my God, I can't believe I'm in the same pilot program that launched Powerpuff Girls and Adventure Time. Your girl is in the same program. I Love You Jocelyn, my pilot, is in the same program that launched Powerpuff Girls and Adventure Time. You see what I mean when I say don't care about what the haters say? Because it's always how I saw things. You know what I mean? And if I said it out loud, it would have sounded crazy, but it's manifested into reality now. So now ain't nobody can tell me nothing. All right. Nobody can say, oh, that's never going to happen. Oh, they don't even do that anymore. Oh, stop dreaming. No, keep dreaming. It will happen. You do it now, you know? So if you need anything to believe in yourself. Thanks in advance, and I hope you all have the best day ever. If you have questions or comments, leave them below. I'd love to read them, and I do respond. So until next time, follow me on Instagram and shop my Etsy for stickers and products that you'll love. It's all made by me. It's so affordable. Check out my store. Have a great day. Bye.